have asked the witness to guide the commission in relation to the thresholds where they have been mentioned in the minutes he submitted, and that's what he is doing.
For the General Council?
Yes, resolutions, yes.
I believe there are three councils. I believe there are three General Council meeting minutes.
Yes, it was in an envelope. I just want to make sure that
yes,
all are.
Yes, the ones I peruse, I think I may recall that it is three.
Okay.
Are there three?
Yes, I think there's four different documents.
Okay.
I'm just trying to arrange them. Okay, thank you, Lead Counsel. The documents I have tendered, as I said, are partial. We're working on the rest.
Right.
But I will start with the KMC Accounting Policies and Procedures Manual of 2017 on page 36. It states the council's thresholds from 1 to 10,000. Single sourcing is the method. The approver is the CEO. From 10,001 to 500,000, request of 3 and maximum of 5 quotations. The approver is the CEO. From threshold 500,000 and 500,001 to 1 million, the method is tender, restricted / open. The approver is the contracts committee. From above 1 million and below 10 million, tender, restricted / open. The approver is contracts committee and GPPA. GMD 10 million and above, method, international tendering. The method is restricted and open. The approver is the contracts committee and GPPA. So this is the KMC Accounting and Policies Procedures Manual 2017.
All right.
The second document is a General Council Resolution, 31st May 2018. Resolution number 8, that all contract agreements, including MOUs and all forms of engagement and support that may have effect of binding council or creating an obligations or rights connected to the council, and all payments from council accounts or funds be subject to final approval by the mayor. That is the resolution on 31st May 2018. The third document is the Finance Committee meeting minutes of 13th June 2018. The attendees are Karamu Sise as chairman, Basiru Sar as member, Nelly N.S. Taylor as member, Lamin S. Jata as member, Abake Williams as member, Karim Dabo as member, Salam Njai, acting CEO, Sirif Njai, acting director of finance, Usman Gay, clerk of council. on excerpt 2.2 of the minutes, the chairman in his deliberation called on members to look into the staffing matters as well as the threshold of the former CEO, whom he alleged was allowed to spend up to 500,000 with general council approval. On the minutes 2.3, however, the vice chairperson who's cautioned that they need to look at the Finance and Audit Act for guidance, as their mandate is centered around policy guidelines and not implementation. She opined that they need to first check whether all documents they requested were provided before so that they can begin the assignment. Also of concern by the vice chairperson was their need to be given appointment letters to legalize their membership in the committee. At that juncture, in 2.5, members agreed to take stock of documents so that they can come to a decision, and the documents are 2.6.1, the Interim Management Committee, Interim Management Committee report, 2.6.2, the KMC Strategic Plan 2016 to 2020, 2.6.3, the KMC Finance and Audit Manual, the KMC Internal Audit Manual, the Draft Annual Internal Audit Plan, and the hard copy of the 2018 Draft Budget. The fourth document was 28 June, meeting minutes of the General Council. Page 2.2, it starts on page 5 of 3.24, which gives the Lord Mayor powers to approve, disapprove memorandums of understanding, contracts, and other binding agreements KMC may enter into in the near future. As per the directives of members in the previous meeting, the Councillor of London Corner Ward asked for further clarification, as he is not sure whether it is the mayor or the general council that should give approval on such matters. The chairman opined that the resolution was passed at a time standing committees were yet to be formed. As a result, they needed to be informed of all transactions and agreements the council needed to enter at the time. However, now that the standing committees are in place, such approvals may be recommended through the committees. That is the fourth document. The fifth document, 2nd July. This is a letter by the chairman of the Finance Committee addressed to the Lord Mayor, Kanife Municipal Council. Update and recommendations from the Finance Committee meeting. Following the General Council meetings held on 31st May 2018 and 28 June 2018, the Finance Committee wishes to advise your office regarding the approval thresholds for council expenditure. The committee has observed that the resolution on 31st May 2018 contradicts the provisions of the KMC Accounting Policy and Procedures Manual, specifically section 6.2.4, which governs council purchases and expenditures. In this regard, we recommend that the resolution granting the mayor authority to be part of the approving threshold for council expenditures be reviewed and aligned with the aforementioned section of the manual. Respectfully submitted, Karamo Sise. So that's why I said it's partial. We are searching for the corresponding general counsel to this and then the resolution.
All right. Now, let me have those documents back, please. Now, after reading this and then awaiting the remaining documents, how can you best summarize the threshold requirements from 2018 to 2023, because it seems as if it has changed from time to time, or at least once?
My summary and what happened in KMC was in 2018, the interim left a threshold of 100,000 to the office of the CEO. between 100,000 to 500,000 to the office of the mayor, 500,000 above to the council. When we came in 2018, like I said yesterday, we endorsed that same thresholds. But the minutes and the correspondences I have read is soon after objections were raised by the finance committee and the members of the council, and it was reversed. That is my understanding of those documents.
All right. So we will review these documents and then we will discuss it subsequently.
Thank you.
Now, as far as you are concerned, the reversal, what would it affect? What would be the new position in relation to the threshold based on the reversal?
The reversal since July or August of 2018 is that the council will approve any amount above 500,000 and the CEO will approve any amount below 500,000.
From July, August 2018.
Yeah.
Now, how was council given this approval?
Sorry, say it again.
Said, how was council given this approval to the CEO?
Which of the approvals?
The approvals that you are referring to in relation to the threshold.
Right.
Yeah, so you said below $500,000 is the CEO, correct?
Yeah.
And then if it goes beyond that amount, then council will have to give its approval.
Yeah.
Now, how is this approval given?
The approval was given through the general council.
No, what I mean, for instance, if there's a payment
Yeah.
that the CEO wants to authorize
Yes.
or wants to be authorized, and then it is beyond $500,000.
Yes.
Now, the CEO should get an approval from the general council.
Yes.
From time to time. If there are 10 payments that are above this amount in a day, it means there should be 10 approvals in the day. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Good. So how does the general council give its approval?
I understand. Okay, the procedure is that if the CEO wants to make a payment, he has to call a contracts committee meeting,
Right.
which the CEO chairs. In that contracts committee meeting, he will lay his desire to procure an item. If the item is above 500,000 or below 500,000, if he chooses, he can seek the advice of the contracts committee. But in cases where it is above 500,000, he will have to work with the contracts committee to recommend to the general body about what contractor they would like to go with. And then the general body would have the CEO present. Sometimes the general body may ask the CEO to invite the said contractor or the desired contractor to present and be probed by the general council. And after the general council's approved, that should be the process, then the CEO can further go to GPPA and seek for the final approval before processing.
Thank you. Is this done in all cases that are above 500,000?
It is done in, I would say, 90% of the cases. There has been cases that have raised alarm at the general council, where the general council has cautioned the CEO or warned the CEO or asked the CEO to reverse.
Okay. So will we be able to have, if we ask, the list of approvals that were given from July, August 2018 to 2023? Would that be possible?
It might take a long time, but I can ask the administration to work on it.
Okay, because I think it should be documented, right? Because every approval by General Council will come in the form of a resolution, correct?
Yes, but if I can be just plain, I believe they've told me they've sent all the payment vouchers to the commission. So they tell me.
Yeah, the approvals are in the form of a resolution or vouchers?
The approvals come in recommendations from the contracts committee, and then
Right.
it should be a resolution from the council.
Okay, good. So it's the resolution that I am referring to, so that the resolutions passed between July, August 2018 for the threshold to 2023 that are authorizing the CEO to do expenditure above 500,000. We need to have the record.
I can ask the clerk to work on it.
Thank you very much. Now, this will take us to another discussion, because there's an approval for that is outlined in the contracts in the GPPA Act and regulations. I know several witnesses, when we say threshold, they take it to be procurement process. It's all part of it. But if you look at the financial manual, it talks about approval when it comes to withdrawal of monies from the accounts, right? And then the approval for the contract is strictly governed by procurement process. But to withdraw money from the account by the financial manual, I believe that is a threshold that the manual is trying to address. I'm not sure whether we are on the same page. If you look at the 305 of the manual on page 29, it says, for instance, the finance director shall not make any payment nor accept any charge. So in his accounts. So this strictly in relation to making payments, that is withdrawal of monies, that the council not only should be aware that a contract is approved, but that the monies that are withdrawn as well, they are also aware, because sometimes a contract can be approved, but maybe there are no finances to conduct that procurement. Do you understand that?
I don't understand the question.
The two are different, so that the approval when it comes to the functions of the contracts committee is just strictly in relation to the procurement methods, so that the financial manual only deals with approvals for withdrawals and payments into the account. So I am saying that, do you understand it that way? Do you agree that the manual talks about approval in a different sense from the GPPA Act and regulation? The manual talks about payments directly made into the accounts of council and withdrawals that were made, whereas the GPPA regulation talks about approval in relation to contracts that are awarded. Do you see the distinction?
Council, can you rephrase the question? Can you modify the question so that the witness can understand?
Okay, let me ask a more direct question. Is the approval that is stated in the GPPA Act the same as the approval in the financial manual?
I have to look at the GPPA Act.
GPPA Act, okay. Now, the functions of the contracts committee that is stated in the Gambia Public Procurement Act 2022 reads page 85. The functions of the contracts committee shall include the verification of proper procurement planning and availability of funds, approval of the invitation to bid and the bidding documents, approval of the usage of single source procurement in accordance with regulations. D, the opening of bids. E, comparing and evaluating the bids and selecting the winning bid subject to subsection 1F. F, submitting the recommendations resulting from the evaluations of bids to the accounting officer of the procurement organization concerned or other official designated in the regulations, in case the value of the procurement exceeds the authority of the contracts committee. G, ensure that the stores and equipments are disposed of in compliance with this act, so that when it is talking about the different methods of procurement. Now, this is slightly different from the financial manual. The financial manual, it is talking about council knowing exactly as at the time monies are withdrawn or paid into the accounts of council. Do you see that?
I still don't catch the question.
Do you see a difference in relation to the approval that is stated in the GPPA Act 2022 and the approval that is stated in the financial manual?
I don't at face value, no.
You don't at face value. All right. Do you have legal advice in relation to the different types of approvals that are stated in the financial manual and the GPPA Act.
This is the first time anybody has ever raised that.
All right. You agree that when it comes to strictly the accounts of council, they are governed by the Finance and Audit Act, and when it comes to procurement, strictly they are governed by the GPPA Act and regulations. Correct?
No, I think when it comes to procurement, it's still governed by the Finance and Audit Act as well.
Okay. So the document that you refer to when it comes to the different types of procurement would be, and how to go about procurement would be the GPPA regulations and the Act.
I believe both.
Both. All right. Now, let me show you Binette Marong. You recall Binette Marong?
Yes.
Binette Marong is a councillor?
Women's Council.
Women's councillor. Right. I have vouchers here that has to do with payments in relation to Binette Marong. Please have a look at it. Do you recall that at some point payments were made to Binette Marong?
Can I examine the document?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Good. What is that payment about?
The British High Commissioner donated solar power plant at the Serakunda market.
Okay. And why was the payment made to Binette Marong?
I don't see where Binette Marong is paid. I just see it's a request from Binette Marong requesting payment for the construction of the solar power plant donated by the British High Commission.
Did you mean it on the document?
Yes, Binette requested that we support her to do this project or we lose the money.
Or we lose the money? And what did you mean it? The document?
Pardon?
What did you write on the document?
This amount is 615,800. And I said, Binette asked for my support. And I said, CEO, please process this refund and ensure payment from High Commission is made after the fact.
All right. And what does this mean?
In what sense?
As in what you were instructing the CEO to do.
I did not instruct the CEO.
Okay, what you were asking
asking
the
the CEO.
Yes.
So basically, like I said, Binette had a grant from the British High Commissioner of 615,000 to build a cold storage. So she came and said she would lose the grant if the council did not support. So basically, I supported her request.
What kind of support is that? Was council paying Binette for?
To ensure the implementation of the project.
Was
So
the
that's
grant?
why I added, please ensure we receive refund from the High Commissioner.
Okay. Was the grant paid to Binette before the endorsement for this payment to Binette, or was the grant received after the payment made to Binette?
Was the grant?
Received as at the time Binette wrote this letter?
It suggests that the grant was not received. It suggests that we were trying to pre-finance the project.
Okay. Did you see any document in relation to the grant that would suggest or strongly give the position that a grant was endorsed by the British Embassy?
I was aware because I spoke to the British Embassy personnel.
Do you have any document in relation to that?
The documents should be with the administration if they exist.
Do they exist?
They should exist.
Did you see a document of that nature?
I should have.
You should have, but you can't recall.
Like I said, these are records we have to look into. There's many records of council.
Okay. Is that document attached to that voucher?
Not that I see, no.
Okay. So the payments, would it not be proper that vouchers, because before approval, there should be all supporting documents in relation?
Absolutely. It's
Yes.
an administrative issue. Yeah.
Yes. And so that if it is not attached to the voucher, then the payment would not be proper. You agree with that?
All supporting documents for every voucher should be there. And if it's not there, that is a maladministration.
There's maladministration. Okay. And then that is what we have here. We have interviewed Binette, and we do not see evidence of that. Then that will suggest that the approval should not have been given without evidence of that supporting document.
I do not approve.
Now, did the council approve this?
I don't remember. I should look into it.
What is the date of this document?
This date is 2020, July.
It would have been the requirement that council should approve this particular payment, correct?
The CEO should take it to the contracts committee. Yes.
I agree. The council should, going by you have already guided the commission in relation to the.
Yes, the CEO should take it to the contracts committee. The contracts committee should bring it to the council. Yeah.
Right. So, and unless and until the council approves, payment should not be done?
Yes.
Okay. And then we do not know whether council approves this payment or not?
We have to find out.
All right. So, how long do we have to wait for that?
Well, I have to go back and ask for it. I'm actively finding all the documents the commission is looking for, but we close 4:30 and we start very early, so it's difficult.
Right.
But hopefully, I don't know when we will end, either Thursday or Friday, I'll go to the office and ensure we get all the documents.
Yes.
Mayor Bensouda, we will give you ample opportunity to be able to put together the documents.
Thank
Don't worry about time. Thank you.
May I please see that voucher, please? Did Binette retire this?
All of those things, like I said, we have to find out.
We'll find out. Now, we have invoices that are attached, one invoice that is attached on to this voucher.
Yes,
Just one invoice, correct?
that's an invoice. Yeah.
Yes. Where is the invoice from?
It says communications and electrical services.
Now, the requirement is to start with, there should be a minimum of 3 invoices. Are you aware of this?
Yes, the CEO should make sure there's, like I said, he should take it to the contracts committee.
Are you aware that the requirement for such procurement is that there is a minimum of 3 invoices?
Yes, I'm aware.
Good. And in the absence of that, it will make that transaction unlawful?
Yes, it's not going by process.
Then it's unlawful.
Well, as per it's not going by the right processes.
And then to say it's unlawful will not be correct?
Well, like I said, I have to refer to the GPPA Act, but it would suggest so.
Okay. Now, request for quotations. The request for quotations. requires that requires that there's a minimum of 3 quotations.
Right.
Yeah, so that if it is against the GPPA regulations or act, that would not be right. That would be very unlawful, contrary to the GPPA Act. Correct?
Yeah.
You agree?
Yes,
Now that's one. The second issue is that should Binette engage in procurement?
Binette can find supporting invoices if she wishes, but the CEO should be the one engaging in procurement.
Okay. So for Binette to engage in procurement, that will also be unlawful?
She should not engage in procurement.
If she engages in procurement, would that be lawful or unlawful?
As a councillor, no, she should not engage in procurement. It will be unlawful.
It will be unlawful. Good. Now, did you know that Binette had engaged in procurement?
No.
Did you find out?
Well, I was hoping the CEO would do his job.
Did the council find out? Because the threshold is beyond the CEO now. So for the council to approve, will you agree with me? Council would have looked at all documents, correct?
So in 2020,
Right.
That was before we incorporated grants in council income.
Right.
When we receive grants, we assume at the time this is outside money. That's why I said, you asked in our financial statements, why wasn't grants included?
Right.
I said this was later incorporated when I brought it up in council in 2021, I believe in 2022. But when this grant came, we looked at it as it was just a gift from the embassy. But like you rightly said, when these matters go to the desk of the CEO, he should take it to the appropriate procurement, and that is through the contracts committee.
Thank you. But why is it that it takes the council about 2 to 3 years to know that grants are part of revenue of council? Why was that the case?
Well, we learn on the job.
Okay, so the fact that you did not classify grants as part of revenue of the case is wrong?
Well, I believe at the time, we thought we were right. That's why we rely on the administrators who should know how these finances are actually registered in the financial statements.
Okay, so at the time, but now you know it was wrong.
Yes, it was brought to my attention, I believe, in 2020. So I believe starting 2021, if you start looking at our financial statements to 2022, we started correcting that.
Okay, now before 2020, the relevant regulations and laws that are applicable to council, the council have time to review them and acquaint itself with the regulations like the Financial Manual, the Finance and Audit Act, and the Local Government Act?
Yes, the acts, all councillors and the mayor, we've read it before we became mayors. On councillors, we try to abreast ourselves with the act, but with the policies, is usually at the committee levels and at the administration level. The committee level and at the administration level.
Okay, so the Local Government Finance and Audit Act, because if the council has the overriding authority to either approve or disapprove a request coming from the CEO or even the mayor, but let's say the CEO, should the council as a general body not be very familiar with what it is going to factor in relation to requests that are made, so as to be able to be in the position to either reject or approve?
So the council as a body relies heavily on its committees, who we vest that role, because we have incorporated experts in those committees.
Right.
If you look at our first general council, we passed a resolution where we said every committee must have 3 councillors,
Right.
and 3 subject matter specialists,
Right.
with the understanding that councillors are elected and come with different education levels.
Okay, so the committees failed in advising council in relation to the fact that project funds, donations, and grants are also part of the revenue of council?
At the time where we were putting it without it, yes, and I would say the ministry as well, because we do send our budgets to the ministry and they do approve.
I agree. entirely. If the ministry has a responsibility to do something and they do not do, if the responsibility is expressed, they will also be responsible. So that when the committees of council, which are creatures of council, if they fail, then it means also council has failed to do its job, correct?
I don't call it failure, I say it's lapses. This is a normal process in administration where there's lapses, and that's why there's checks and balances.
Yes.
The committees should be the force to safeguard the council and
Right.
advise.
Right.
Then we would rely on external bodies
Right.
such as the National Audit Office,
Right.
the ministry, GBPA, and if that fails, then it has to go to the parliament. If everybody fails, then it's a total system failure.
True. But then it starts with the council itself, correct?
Yes, but the council relies on partners. That's the
Yes.
access.
So that what I meant earlier is that if the law exists that you are to do X, Y, and Z, it is a convincing argument for anyone to say that we were learning on the job. That's a genuine answer. And for the most part, people will understand what I mean. Anybody listening like a commissioner, so they may understand that to a certain degree it is okay to learn on the job. And then, but that in itself would also come with the idea that, of course, there is a failure, because if there are violations, you'll agree, it's because there are failures.
I wouldn't use the word failure.
So is it a violation of
It's a
the
lapse,
act?
yes, but it's a lapse in administration or lapse in oversight.
So is that a violation? Did the lapse amount to a violation?
Yes? I
All right.
would say so.
Thanks. Now, the Binette Marong said that, like you said, this was pre-financed. Is there a procedure for pre-financing in council? Any guideline either in the financial manual or in the policies of council regarding pre-financing that regulates pre-financing?
I would have to check.
You'll have to check. All right, no problem. Then we'll come back to the issue of Binette Marong when we're done. Now I have another set of vouchers here. Kemo Bojang. You know Mr. Kemo Bojang?
Yeah,
All right. Who is Mr. Kemo Bojang?
he's the youth councillor.
All right. Now, Mr. Kemo Bojang also testified here. I have vouchers from Mr. Kemo Bojang that I want you to see. The first is the voucher dated with the number PV202018. The exhibit number LGC/KB in bracket 1/KMC/004.
Yes,
Thank you. Do you recognize the voucher?
I recognize the voucher.
What is that voucher about?
The voucher is from the youth sports culture, it's expense from the youth sports and culture expense of 26,500, being council support for training for the youth and support for political participation as per letterhead.
All right.
It states Youth Councillor to Lord Mayor, 28 December 2020, training for youth and support for political participation. I write to ask for support in training young people in politics. KMC being a hotbed for political violence and intolerance, I seek to train 150 young people for 3 days on good governance and effective and positive political participation. We plan on having resource persons from Westminster Foundation to train these young people on effective communication, leadership, and teamwork. The youth office seeks the sum of 26,500 from your office, 150 packs of food daily at the price of $50 each for 3 days, equaling 22,500, water totaling $1,000, and 3 resource persons at 1,000, counting on your usual cooperation and approval. And I write to the CEO and said, this request from the council is approved.
Why did you approve that request?
All requests from councillors are to be directed at the mayor's office and are to be approved by the mayor's office before the CEO can go on to authorize.
And that include payments?
It includes any request from the councillors.
Okay. So now payments from, request of payments from councillors are approved by the mayor?
Any councillor who has a request for an activity, for an event, or something they want to do, I will assess using my judgment. I will approve before the CEO can go about to authorize or not. It's up to the CEO at the end of the day.
No. If you approve, it means you've approved payment.
No.
What did you approve?
I have approved the request of the activity.
What is the request?
The request is he wants to train youths.
No, the request is he wants payment.
No, he wants to train youths.
Okay. Can I read it, please?
Yes,
so that we may have different understanding. It says, I write to ask for support. Financial support is what Mr. Bojang is asking. I write to ask for support in training youths. The support, the money he's asking for, is to train youths. Is that correct?
Yes, it's part of the support.
So were you approving that he train the youths, or were you approving that he be given the money to train the youths?
I am approving the activity. I cannot authorize money. That's the CEO.
No, that's not my question. So I asked a question with two limbs, and I would be grateful if you choose one of the limbs or even disagree with any of them.
I approve the activity.
Okay, let me just ask it again, please. Now, did you approve that Mr. Bojang be paid money to train the youths, or did you approve that Mr. Bojang can go ahead and train the youths? Period.
Lead council, there's a general council resolution.
Right.
What was happening was all the councillors were going to the CEO.
Right.
To ask for different activities and payments.
Right.
I saw that that is a problem because
Right.
the CEOs would come and complain that the councillors would use their office, the office of the councillor, to put pressure on the CEOs. And that may force them to make payments that they should not be making.
Yeah.
So we came to the council. I asked all councillors that the best practice is that all councillors first should come to the mayor so I can assess the merits of the activity they want to do. When I say I am approving this activity, the CEO can go about and then authorize the payment or not. There are instances where councillors want to do a training, councillors want to do a tour. They will put, let's say, $1,000 to be paid to each member for 10 days of that tour. I will say, I approve the activity. It goes to the CEO and he rejects the amounts. So what we were trying to do is good governance. Eventually, what we did, we said, look, we cannot, because councillors were complaining that they are at the forefront of the communities. Every day, people come to their houses asking for different community supports. So we said, why don't we create what we call a WDC fund? That was pioneered at KMC. In that way, if we have this fund, councillors and their WDC can do community activities without burdening the council, and it will be in a controlled manner and fashion. So that's why I said all these requests for good governance were coming to the office of the mayor for my perusal and endorsement. And that is for the councillors. That's why any councillor who has an activity, they will ask me for approval of the activity before the CEO can go about and authorize a payment or not. That is the premise of these documents.
Thank you very much for that explanation. I think it is helpful.